Let's do it. The round of 16 is complete. We know our quarterfinal matchups. And quite frankly, there's lots to talk about, lots to observe, but we're going to try to do our best to cover it as well. We had Algeria at the death and Côte d'Ivoire subtly reminding me, hey, put some respect on our name. Again, well, everyone I have doubted have basically come up and said, hey, put some respect on my name. So apparently, if I doubt you, this is what you need. Apparently, who knows? But guys, welcome. We are on live Mo Football TV, Africans channel. I do primarily Canadian African content because I want to be the Africans that can do both. And Mo just is vibing it out, enjoying time, and enjoying the days. But we are here to talk about it. I think the question I want to ask everyone coming through, and we'll put this on our ticker here, of the round of 16, again, only the round of 16, not the whole tournament, because I don't want to turn this into, well, they've only played these teams. Of the round of 16, we have 8 teams. Who are your top 3 favorites out of the 3 teams that are left to win? That's the question. That is the question that I want to ask for you, Mo, but then also for people coming in. Of the 8 teams remaining, who are the top 3 that you have to win this AFCON, this edition of AFCON? Let us know in the comments below. But Mo, we had a fun day of football, a stressful game, and then a game that I thought might be a little bit closer. But within the first 5 minutes, I was just like, I did it again, didn't I? I put my faith on a team that wasn't able to come through for me. And here we are. But the round of 16 is done, Mo. How are you feeling about it?
I think it looks like at this moment we've not gotten the upset that we were looking for. And I think it sounds like we might not get it because of the teams that have not qualified. It looks like we've reached that part where a crazy upset. But I think maybe, well, I guess Senegal, maybe it might be the usual suspects that we have. So the reigning champs, Côte d'Ivoire, we'll say Nigeria and Senegal.
That's not a bad guess. Based off of the matchups they have, I think you have to factor that in a little bit. I saw that the stranger stat, but it's a true stat. Cameroon have eliminated 7 past hosts of AFCON, and they're about to take on another host. So Cameroon are just like, hey, it's what we do. It is what we do, so move aside. Because I remember when they did it to Ghana in what was it, 08? Yeah, I remember that. My heart was broken from that. But we had, jump in.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, your heart won't be broken this year, so it will be intact.
It's true. My country isn't hosting. This is true. So life is where it is. So the question we have for everyone who's popping by, of the 8 teams remaining, who are your top 3 favorites to go through and win this tournament? 8 teams left. I'm giving you almost half the field. I should be asking you guys for 2. I'm being kind. A third in this economy? Hey, might as well. But that is the question as we wait for you guys again. Fill in, give your comments. We'll get to those in a minute. Let's talk about the games that were today, because we had one. I think the game we were all anticipating was that Algeria DRC game, and
Yeah,
from a tension standpoint, it did not disappoint. For the people who thought this was going to be an up and down goal fest, I think there were moments it could have been, but it was certainly curtailed and managed. I have thoughts about the game, but I want to start off with you, Mo. When you look at that game, Algeria emerged at the death,
right.
1-0. How do you feel about it? Was this a game that Algeria won, deserved to win? Or will DRC look at this and say and think of the opportunities that could have been, we left this game on the pitch? How do you think
I,
they would look at the game that way?
I think at this point it was more of a DRC Congo, I would say, because they
Mm,
had a little bit more of the clear opportunities to go ahead much sooner. So I think
okay.
they are probably will be kicking themselves on that because I don't think, and plus it was not the DR Congo that we kind of familiar with.
Mm,
It's they're hard hitting team. I think they were a little bit more reserved due to the fact that it was a knockout stage.
yeah.
But then that's where the experience then comes with Algeria and their coach that knew exactly the game plan that he had in mind,
Hmm.
where clearly we saw towards the second half, he put in players that were skillful, faster, and younger
Mm,
for aging DR Congo team that towards the longer they pushed them, the longer they were getting tired. So that's
yeah.
where I saw the big difference.
No, most definitely. I mean, I think if you look at the action momentum chart that's on the side of the screen here, I mean, I think there are definitely parts in this game where if you look at it and you'd say there were definitely moments where one side or the other could have got through just based off attacking momentum. I think the first half very much was an Algerian dominant side. And it was the type of game that I was looking at and thinking, if they don't score soon, this could be a game that they look back and say, all that possession and what do you have to show for it? But I think tactically on the pitch, there's a moment in the second half, right? About 15, the first 15 to 20 minutes of the second half, DRC are running. They
Right.
are running them. And they're saying, oh, you want to play this space? No, 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 no. We can play this space. And you see Algeria starts to wane a bit. And then there's a clear moment of demarcation where they just say, no, 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 no. We are not built for the track meet. We're slowing this game down. And like I've had problems with other aspects of this game, but the one thing I'll give Algeria credit for, like you said, getting the fresh legs in when they can, but they manage this game,
Yeah.
the tempo of this game very well. And
Yeah.
yes, DRC still have their opportunities, but in those first 15 to 20 minutes, if they don't take the air out of the ball, I think Algeria runs themselves off the pitch. And then DRC finally puts one away, and then maybe it turns into a little bit more of an open game because one side is chasing, and then DRC gets to sit back and be the counter side a little bit better. But I think how they manage the second half, we talk about the substitutions, but it's primarily the game flow. And I'll give the coach his due for that, getting the players to manage the pace of the game a lot better. I think that was a key thing for them that maybe doesn't get talked about as much. But at least for me, I noticed that. And I used the broadcast I was watching, the commentators brought it up as well. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
they
it's time
managed this game
management.
well. Yeah.
And that's that. And I think the coach will get a lot of the credits for the way he managed it because, yes, they saw that DR Congo was moving forward. So it was like, okay, so you want the ball, have it,
Hmm.
and then we'll see what you can do with it. Clearly, they were not able to finish those chances. And then that's where you decide, look at your bench. It looks like DR Congo, all of their aces was already on the field.
Hmm.
Compared to Algeria, you saw how they went from starting with experience, and then after that, they started with youth, ended with youthful, and that's how the goal happened, right? Because it
Yep.
was a counter, and then as you can see, the I forget from DR Congo was running behind. That was not a
Yeah.
full sprint.
No.
That was not a full. So you pretty much let I forgot his name that scored, but you give him a few
Yeah.
seconds to make those run, to look up and decide which top bin he's going to. So
Yeah.
that means he had
Bulbani.
too
Yeah.
much time.
Bulbina who scores it for them. Adil
Yes, he's
Bulbina.
gonna get
Yeah.
a pay raise big time
Oh, he
after this
definitely
one.
will.
But
And yeah.
that's your problem, right? When they made all of those runs, they were getting the chances. Then you get that one counter, useful striker that clearly, if he was a little bit more seasoned, he may have tried to just cut back to stop the defender and then make another run. It's like, no, I can see you behind me. And he just looked up, saw the space, opened his hip, and just picked the other side of the post
Yeah.
and nailed it. Like,
I said it like I tweeted or I put it on Blue Sky. I'm like, as a goalkeeper, like I tip my cap to that shot, or don't get caught up so far into your box where that angle is available to you. As a
but
short, yeah, but like you can't do anything
yeah,
about that.
because
Even if
as a
he's back,
goalkeeper,
that's
you gotta close the
yeah.
cap for the near post because
Hmm.
you don't expect them to have enough space
Hmm.
between them and the defender to be able to open their hip and pick the right corner.
Yeah, you're daring him to go that far corner,
Yes. So
and
that's
he
where
did, and it was beautiful. You
yes.
mentioned the youth that Algeria puts on, right? And I've always been one who's a proponent of, look, if you have young players, you got to test them in the fire. If it doesn't work, you still have veterans you can rely on. In this case, again, this team, your veterans are your best players, are the faces. You have your Mahrez's, your Beninkur, your Ait Nouri's, right? Those are the names. But then it's the young players who, in their moments, make the most of it. For you, and when you're looking at teams, do you prefer, like, because I'm one who always prefers throw the young ones out if it's not working. Halftime, put on the veterans, calm everything down, or they can read it a little bit better and move it forward. Do you like the approach of, okay, if it's not working, we put on the youth and that gives us a spark of energy? Or do you prefer to start with that energy and maybe like it might be a little frenetic, but at least they are moving forward and you find out if, the lights are too bright for them in some moments?
Yeah. I think it almost when I put my coach hat on, I think you almost depend on the team that you're playing against.
Hmm.
Because first you have to determine, are they a team that's going to be aggressive from the very beginning?
Yeah.
If they're also a physical team, then that's when your experience come into play where you can manage the game as much as you can versus sometimes if you're younger, you would say, fine, we're going toe to toe. If you want to sprint, we're going to sprint, battle, yes. But I
No,
think
that's
from
yeah.
what they discovered from DR Congo is that even watching them play with Senegal, right, it's a hard-hitting team at first, but then towards the end of the game, either they gets out because majority of their aces are already on the field, and then it just takes the youthness to beat them. If you think
Uh-huh.
about it, with the Senegal game, right, DR
Yeah.
Congo was winning most of it. Who came in and was the difference? By a
Uh-huh.
17-year-old.
Yeah.
And now Algeria takes almost the same blueprint as of like we're toe to toe with them. Oh, but wait, during the 70th minute, let's bring youthness. And they were able to actually open the game more and pass through those defenders and actually contribute a goal. And
Yeah.
so that's why I saw Senegal right all along of the last game is that they're all into the game until there's one of the young players that's not afraid because they've given all the say, make the magic happen. And those are the moment. A more senior player will most likely either, like I say, right, cut back, let the defender pass you, and then go to this open space, or wait for somebody else to come and help you.
Hmm.
But that's a young player that just go for it.
No,
All right.
most definitely.
Give me
And
one
so,
second. There's somebody that
yeah, no
knocked on my
problem.
door. All right. Bye bye.
Yeah, yeah, I got you, I got you. Yeah, so with that, Algeria makes it through, and I mean, they've been low key one of the top performing teams here, still haven't conceded goal to go on a banger. So they look good in this spot. And for Algeria, they set up next to have Nigeria in the next round. Again, for everyone who's squeaking by, the question is, after all the round of 16 games, who are your top three teams to win? I know we got some comments in here, which we're going to get to. And we'll get to them right now as we go through. Prince Hood letting me know that all the North African haters are crying right now. Well, I mean, we were right about Tunisia, but it's true. Algeria has shown well. Egypt, I think, looks the weakest of the three. And then I think if you're ranking the North Africans, you go Algeria, Morocco, and then Egypt. I can understand why some might put Morocco at the top of that list, but in terms of the best North African performers, Algeria Algeria has been more steady. I think Morocco's had better peaks, but Algeria has been steady. In Egypt, I mean, like we said yesterday, if Marmouche doesn't show up, they're done in the quarters, right? And it's
Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, you're all good. You're all good. You're all good.
It's so nice outside and not everybody's walking, so that means the kids knock
Oh,
at the door, say, "Can you come and play?" Yeah,
hey,
we're in January and it's almost 74 right now.
Must be nice. It's been raining and snowing here all day, so I'm
Sorry, I
living the
had to
life.
show up for a little bit. So yes,
Yeah,
after
I
that we're
know.
going outside. Fresh grass.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But then you have Prince Hood telling me Morocco, Senegal, and Algeria are his top three. And
Okay.
his hot take is Côte d'Ivoire over Algeria. I assume that's in the semi somewhere because that's not in the because Algeria that'll be in the okay. That'll be
That's not a
something,
hot
no
take
doubt.
though.
I think at this point you have nothing but I. That's the thing. Like if there's a take for this Afcon so far, it's that this is not last year's AFCON. This isn't the AFCON where the perennial favorites are dropping out. This is the AFCON, to use a North American term, this is the NCAA tournament where all the one seeds make it to the Final Four. This,
I
this
think
is
that's
the
what
AFCON where the favorites are favoriting, right? The giants are gianting.
yeah. And I think that's why
And
they say everybody from part one, and I think the others have all made the one that were picked first. And
yeah,
that's why I
and
said
then
you need to sorry guys.
and then after that, I mean, the stat, all the third place teams were eliminated, so no big surprises coming from there. So that's the hot take. Morocco and Ghana, bro, playing local players. Still beat you with local players. Leave me alone. Okay, Morocco, but Sanson saying Morocco, Nigeria, Senegal. Okay, Morocco is the best team in Africa. That's fair. I'm not going to deny it. I think some will disagree. I think they're one of the best right now.
I think
But
they'll
in terms of the
probably will
North,
say
but again, based off this tournament, how they've been playing,
that we can't.
Algeria has been more steady. Morocco's had better peaks, and Egypt. I mean, Egypt has been feast. It feels feast or famine. Again, I said it yesterday. Marmouche got to do something, or they're done in the quarters. But
That I'm a little heartfelt to say so far a lot of their wins have had someone else other than the one wearing their jersey to kind of
mm,
help them win. So that's why it's hard for me to say at this moment that they're the best if you're winning 1-0 and that 1-0 is a PK. Like,
that's
right?
fair.
So
Mm.
so I still keep them as the favorites. It's kind of hard for me to say they're the best because at this point they're almost all equal because they have now shown us that like even those that won 3-0, 4-0, it's just that they peaked at this right moment. It's
Yeah.
not that they've gone to their group stage and they've battered everybody and then they
No,
still
but
have to struggle to make it to where they are now. All of them, technically.
it's A before A World Cup. That's why South Africa were awful. Only South Africa were awful. Possibly,
I,
we could see that.
I don't know about it. Awful, but they're hey, you know who they faced at the wrong time, right? I mean, yeah.
Fair enough. Well, Mo, this one's for you. Now we're
Okay.
going World Cup, but like I want to talk World Cup here, but I think this will transition this
Okay.
for a team that's not quite at the World Cup, but we'll
Okay.
talk about them, the losers. Mo, out of the CAF teams, who do you have going the furthest in the World Cup? If it's not Morocco, you're a bias. Um, listen, his bias.
I, well, hey, I also have Morocco is I hold it very dearly to my heart too.
Mhm.
Like I don't know if you watch all the history and all that, Senegalese people and Moroccan people are very close knit. When I grew up in France, I have tons of Moroccan friends, brothers. That's the normal. But I think so far at this moment, when we are talking about if our best out of the CAF at this moment are still struggling to beat the team that they're technically have to beat versus, if you watch the other part of the world, right? The team that they hold high enough are able to
Mhm.
beat the teams they're supposed to properly. But luckily for the CAF teams here is that they have this tournament to make sure that that is the best preparation any continent has at this moment
Yeah.
to do. So
It,
Morocco, depending on how the brackets go, but I will say it's looking good that we have four teams, all of our teams except Nigeria will be going to the World Cup, right?
mhm.
At the right time. So I'm just holding to it. Everybody's waiting for Morocco, right? So that means every team in the world right now is all eyes on Morocco, and they are preparing for that.
No, that's fair. I think for me, I know I wasn't asked the question. I think right now, if I'm looking at the teams that are there, I think Morocco is definitely one. Senegal is another one, and then I want to see more. Right? I've said this earlier. I want to take a look at how they look in the March friendlies before I really start to say, okay, who's going to look good, who's not going to look. But on paper, you go Morocco and Senegal because on paper they have squads that you say, okay, and we've seen them recently in friendlies play top teams and figure that out. Now, again, Senegal has the highs of beating England, and then we're taught a few things of the intricacy
Brazil.
versus Brazil, right? Because that's a game of because Nelson said this looking at the game like that's a fair point. In that Senegal Brazil game, it felt like once Brazil figured how the ref was calling the game, they were just like, okay, cool,
Oh,
you can let it.
also the second one, because the
Mhm.
first one Senegal beat them. I think the second one when
Yeah,
Senegal sees
the
Brazil,
second one, yeah, for sure.
I think that one is that I don't think there was any team in the world that was going to beat Brazil because you know what? Ancelotti is the new coach. Every single Brazilian players right now want to have their tickets for the World Cup. They're on a blank slate, right?
Yeah.
Anyone that get called out over there, you better be on your top. And that game was not a friendly. I could tell. The
Oh,
way I
if
watched
in
it,
that more. Mhm.
Senegal wanted to beat them for a second time, and Brazil did not want that to
To
happen
lose,
again.
yeah.
Right. So, but I feel good about all of the African teams that are going.
Mhm.
Capo Verde is the one that you know what they make it out of the group stage. Their World Cup
That's
will
a
be
World Cup,
made.
right? Like we're
Yes,
watching those games for the vibes and the stance for reasons.
yes, and everybody
Reasons.
knows the ladies and all that. But
Yeah.
yes. So
No, no, the
so
vibes.
I
The
hope
vibes.
it's a
Yeah.
Morocco France. Sorry, Morocco Senegal final for the CAF for AFCON.
Mm, okay. Now,
Now
before we
that'll
get
be a
to
fun
that,
one. Yes.
it would
Sorry.
be a fun one. And guys, don't worry, we'll get to the comments there. But I want to ask you about DRC, RDC.
Okay.
This to me, like we always the joke with them is they're the Spurs of Africa. Like they'll find a way to lose it. In this game, it wasn't a blown lead, right?
No.
If you're trying to put on your only DRC hat, you say things like after this game, we couldn't really get into the flow of the game. The second half, you had a moment to really run and dictate, but then Algeria took the air of the game. And if you really are that much of a homer, you're saying they were playing 14 versus 11 for the entire game. If you're that much of a homer, you'd say that. I didn't like the refing in this game. It was tough because again, if they can punch someone, I want to be able to punch someone in
Yeah.
the most layman of terms.
No, that if the referee, if you set the tone, you let those fly, then everybody has to get the same one.
Mhm.
But I also have the mentality, right? At the end of the day, if you don't put the ball in the net,
Indeed.
you're letting someone else dictate your game,
Yep.
and that's where the coaches and the players, got to use your way of thinking, right? We
Hmm.
all know you got those small here and there ways to get your fouls and not to get your fouls. When you complain to the ref so many times, guess what? They will remember you. So the next time you have something valid, they will ignore you
Hmm.
because the first one was it. So sometimes it's just horse racing, put your blinds and put the ball in the net. And they played well. It's just that they got beat by a out of this world play, right?
Yeah. And like for me, it's like it's the type of game where it literally is a buzzer beater, right?
Yeah, yep,
You played defense as well as you could. Your legs were tired. You tried to take the space. Man hit a good shot. Like I can't be upset with that. That's why I'm like, as a goalkeeper, I tip my cap to you. Like, what else
yeah.
do you want me to do?
He
It
picked the
it
farthest.
it clipped the crossbar.
Yeah,
Even if he's in the right angle, he maybe gets a hand on it. And
yeah,
so when you're looking at RDC, their tournament is done, right?
yeah.
DRC just have World Cup qualifying in Mexico, which Jordan, again, thank you for the flight information. I might just do that. I might just. When you look at that squad, what is the thing that you think they are missing to A, confirm their slot in the World Cup, but then also be more than just a debuting. They're not a debuting side. They got a new name. They've been there. They qualified before when they were known as Zaire, but now they're here again. So how do they? Is it simply one player, or is it maybe a change of philosophy for them, so that they're not just if they make the World Cup one and done? Like, what do you think they're missing?
I don't know, maybe one playmaker in the midfield that kind of able to dictate the flow. Because I just watching the other game, right? I think it was everybody playing one certain way of style of play,
Hmm.
and it was not a particular person that was the anchor for their entire team.
Hmm.
Uh, but also the thing about it is that their chances to play on the qualifiers, I'm very confident that they should be able to win that game. It's just I think that what they were facing during this AFCON was that they faced teams that pretty much were stacked on the CAF standard,
Hmm.
but they just don't have that one playmaker slash anchor.
Do you think they missed Wisa in this tournament? Do you think if he, though he is coming back from injury, do you think having him would have given you at least more of that outlet, or at least more of that gravity? Right, because
I'll
that was the
probably
thing.
say I'll probably will say so, and maybe they need to try to do a back three instead of a back four.
Hmm, that may well if especially well once you got to the second half with Wan Bissaka pushing forward that much, it might suit them better to go back three so that you just put the wing back in the space, and then maybe that means you're playing a 3-4-2-1. Maybe that means it's a more of a 3-5-2, and then Wissa becomes more of a second striker with whatever striker that you have there. Maybe it's finding someone again, as simplistic as it is, finding someone to put the ball in the net. I know, crazy concept,
Well,
but
first it has to go in past half mid. So, but yes,
finding it, and maybe like again maybe we oversimplify it for that, but I don't think for DRC they have anything. This wasn't a bad performance,
no,
right? They
no,
were just unlucky, right?
yeah. Oh,
They got beat by a good shot, and that's all you could really do about it. And so I
those
don't
are
look at them and
those are the
say,
type of
yeah,
shots you just take hand, and even the goalkeeper will come to you like, yeah, you got me on this one. This,
oh yeah, like
yeah,
I've had shots where I get beat. I'm like, look, I ain't trying to start a fight, but like, yo,
no,
I tip my
between
cap.
soccer fans, yeah. It's
Hmm.
not, and
All you can do is do that. Yeah,
yeah, maybe you can scream at your midfielders. Maybe they should have dropped back a little bit more to come in cover. But
you always blame the midfielders. Yeah,
goalkeeper wise, you ain't got. There's nothing.
it's the shots where where you're frozen in space and you're just like, no, and then you're like, well, It's
It is what it is.
it's
It
those
is
like
what
you,
it
you
is.
ever see those things that when like those moments where you see something rolling off your desk and you know you can't reach it, but in your mind you're like, I have to at least try. So didn't
Well,
get it. You can't do that
you
there.
try and then you break something, and then it's like, maybe I should have to begin to start with. No, that one was in the upper. He touched the bar. He
What
could have
touched the
gone
upper
upper
room?
90. He was there. The ball went. I mean, I think even the fans that were on, they couldn't believe it. What he saw this shot, and it's like, is he just trying to waste time, or
It
it's
was
one
a
of those
perfectly.
things?
Oh yeah, you can't do much about that. Again, you just kind of tip your cap to it. But you go
Yes.
from that game, right, where Algeria now are set to take on Nigeria on Saturday morning here for us. Then you have probably a side that I know I haven't given their respect to. Okay.
Okay.
I will be the first to say, listen, it was me. In the words of whatever, it's me, I'm the problem. It's me.
Okay.
Okay. Cote d'Ivoire came in, and I think within the first 5 minutes of the game, I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those games. Okay. And then the mod scores, and then it just keeps going. And then it's a comfortable, honestly, it's a comfortable win over Burkina Faso. They got their chances, but for Cote d'Ivoire, they are a champion that I could see them slowly. I could see them in the finals, and no one would anticipate it coming. Right? They're the type of team that are just putting the performances well, and we're not talking about them. I know, Steph. I know. But they feel like a side that there was the big news. There's a lot of talking over the bigger. Morocco being the host, Nigeria, have they found their form again? It looks like it. Um, Algeria, have they? What they're looking great. Okay, good for them. Egypt, I mean, it's Salah versus the commentator who won't be named, so we're rooting for that. And then Cote d'Ivoire, I forget who it was. One of their players had a quote. Was like, "We don't care who's in front of us. We're trying to win 7 games, and this is just game number 4." I'm like, that didn't get a lot of play. We're still talking about if Lookman and Osman like each other. Meanwhile, Cote d'Ivoire players like, listen, 7 games to play, 7 games to win,
Yeah.
4 down. Who's next? Who's next?
Well,
Eh,
for Cote d'Ivoire, if you think about it, right, their last tournament was the worst they've ever played, but yet still went home and win it at home.
mm,
So if you went that low, there's nothing lower you can go to. That was on the come up, and you could see their coach, right? Every goals he was running like he was the Mourinho on the sideline or Pep or something. That shows you the energy that he brought to the team. They're matching it
very
now,
much so.
and I think he just has Amar Diallo that pretty much the kid is feeling himself, and all you need is that one player that shows you that he's him, and then all you have to do is then have the senior guys that are also great players, and you just ride the train with him. I mean, they just give him the rein and says, you take us where you want it, and we'll finish it.
It is fascinating because again, like I said, there's been so many stories, and I'm part of it where I'm someone like, yeah, because again, I'll tell you, I thought Burkina Faso will walk into this and be like, okay, this is the revenge tour for the teams that were left out of the African playoff. Like, this is the revenge tour. They're coming for blood, and then the champions were like, no,
No.
just no. And it was like, brush aside. Next team, brush aside. Everyone on my revenge tour have been brushed aside. So I mean, other than Nigeria
Yeah.
and Cameroon, maybe everyone else on the revenge tour were just like, no, just go. And so, as a side, they are interesting to me because, like, I'll throw up their bracket here. If they beat, it is not out of the realm of possibility because we have them there. We'll talk about Burkina Faso in a minute in terms of what they need to add for their side. But on their side of the bracket, it's Egypt, right? An Egypt side that has been less than convincing,
Yeah.
and then probably matchup wise, it's Mali or Senegal. We assume, again, depending on how the ball rolls, on paper it should be Senegal. So you're telling me you don't get a quote unquote, and not to say that they haven't been challenged, but Cote d'Ivoire could be in the semifinals and look comfortable all the way through. And this is a side that most people were just like, they didn't look convincing in the group. I said that, gaining results. I said, hey, they weren't really, they haven't been talked about as a team because there's been more fascinating stories to talk about outside of that. But as the defending champs, I don't know if they get it done because we haven't seen a repeat champ at AFCON since Egypt decided to rule the early 2000s. But they could, like, it's a real possibility that they could just sneakily be, and sneakily may not be fair, but under the radar reach the finals, and then we would just be like, oh, the elephants are here again. Oh,
Yeah, that would have been definitely interesting.
when did you guys get here?
Yeah, it's
Right.
kind of hard to sneak some anywhere if you're an elephant. But I guess that's a different set of skills there.
They are a nimble set of hooves. I will say
Yeah.
that much. But
Hey,
like Cote d'Ivoire, they perform well. It was a comfortable victory for them. When you go to the
yes.
other side of the matchup, Burkina Faso, I thought for sure the revenge tour was going to come for them after what happened to them. For those of you who aren't aware, they would have made the playoff, but because they eliminated the last place game, that was something that was put into place. They went from like second to fifth, and then they weren't able to go on. So I figured the Burkina Faso revenge tour was on for AFCON, and they had a good group run, but then fell to Cote d'Ivoire without scoring a goal here 3-0. When you look at that Burkina Faso side, what do you think is missing for them to take that next step in preparation for the next AFCON competition that's coming? Like, is it just simply more reps? Is it simply finding, look, the Trout, it's jokingly, all 17 Traorés? I mean, you can't,
Yeah, technically, yeah.
at some point they're going to age out. Is it finding more players who can come in? Because I know they had at the U17 level, they have a couple interesting prospects coming,
Yeah.
but what do you think for them is the key? If you have to boil it down to one thing, what's the thing for them you think they're missing to kind of rejuvenate this group? Or is it simply time to kind of reset the board for them? A lot
I
of
think
questions I'm asking in one thing, but like,
no, I
what's your
think for
take?
me, it's more of like they're still building the team that they
Mm-hmm.
want to have. Um, of course, when I say that is, I know George Minongu, right? For example, he also has a Cote d'Ivoire passport. He could have also played for them,
Yeah.
but he changed to Burkina Faso. So he's one that's still trying to get integrated to the team, which you see that's why he was still coming off the bench. Um, so I think they still have a few of the senior guys that are very experienced, but I think that
Mm.
team looks like is still a team that's being built to to compete. And
Okay.
yes, we know there's the Traore that've been around Southampton and all that. So they have that knowledge of high stake ball. But
Yeah.
it's like five or six of those guys and then the bench trying to kind of assimilate to their way of playing. And during the group stage, right, they came back from behind and then they had a tie game. So it was more of like trying to feel the way they play versus Cote d'Ivoire was that they knew what they wanted. Their coach knows what he wants. He knows who to put in. And if you watch their rosters, it's nothing compared to Burkina Faso or many of the African teams to
Mhm.
begin with. So I think it was just a different level of class and just Jallo was just he was unleashed and he was doing whatever he wanted, which means Burkina Faso had to keep an eye on him, which then allowed oh, he scored the first one. So that pretty much allowed everybody else to kind of play their game because Ahmad was the guy that everyone was talking about, and clearly they couldn't even stop him.
Mhm.
He took one brilliant player,
No,
and
mhm.
it
And then he makes
when
it
you
through. So yeah, I
it's
think
like
you can't really do much with that. I mean, and some of those are just, hey, the pass backs were there, the cutbacks were there, then it's 1-0, then it's 2-0. And then at the end, it's just one singular run and it's 3-0. And you're like, okay, right.
and I
And
will
for Cote
mention,
d'Ivoire,
yeah,
yeah.
Pepe is on himself. He should have not talked too much. Sometimes there's
Some things there are
sometimes even
times to
if you're
say
joking,
things.
don't say anything. Yes,
Yeah,
especially when
not the time to say.
you're not guaranteed to play to begin with. So sometimes you want
Hmm.
on there. And I saw that comment about Osimhen. I think that's the hot topic for all of that.
Hmm.
The way I see it is he knows his top player. He knows what they want. That's what you want technically your players to kind of do, right? It's
Hmm.
if there's no fire, I will have a bigger question mark on what's happening. We
I
saw
think
the
it's a yeah.
interviews, we kind of
Hmm.
closed it, right?
Yeah, Lookman did his best to just be like, look, this we're brothers, we play, and that's it.
Um,
It's one of those things where depending on the result, everything gets a different narrative. Because they're winning, it's like, why are you yelling? But if he does that and they're losing, it's like, oh, this is
he's
the
being a
again the
leader.
narrative of like, oh, he's a hothead, he can't do this. But when they're winning, it's like we code it as like, oh, it's a mama mentality. It's he's in it to win. It's like it's the same thing one way or the other. Players are passionate. Players want to win.
Yeah,
And
and
some players feel that they need to have the ball at them to win. My issue, the one worry I have with Nigeria is the conversation we had a few weeks ago or this past weekend, which is who's the head, like who is the leader who brings everything together. Because Arsenal walks around with the armband. He's your best player. No one's going to deny that. And yes, there is a gap between him and the next striker. No one's going to deny that. But who's the rallying cry, right, for that team? If it's Osimhen, then you go with that, right? You ride the highs, you ride the lows, and you figure that out that way. But
and I think that's where you then have someone else in the team that's maybe not the Osman, but is
mm,
still the level-headed one that will then step in and listen, and kind of bring it up because there's 11 people on the field and an additional probably 10 in the back.
yeah,
You will have your hard-headed, you have your soft-spoken, you have your soft. It all happened. It just happened in that second. Maybe he wanted to get the hat trick. That's why he got a little sour. Um,
maybe,
it's just that it happened that was the round of 16 and there's no other games happening. It's all eyes on you.
yeah.
It happens. We've all seen things a lot worse because we saw teammates slap each other or punch each other or
It
right.
was all
He
love.
he just raised his voice, got a little bit of here, and
It was all love. Look, at the end, we've yelled. Everyone has had those moments where you're that heated. So I'm never going to go after the player for that. It doesn't help Osimhen because
yeah,
within that, and then the camp that he has with that, it just adds to the narrative that
the
he's
narrative.
just a difficult player to play with. He's a difficult player to negotiate with. He's just a difficult player. We're not going to call him a diva, but he's just a difficult. That's
He
the
wants
narrative. That's
he
yeah.
wants he wants what he wants, and I will never fault any players for being the way they are. And yes, I know Kudus will never do that. But guess what? You
But
can
he's not.
never
Yeah,
you can never say that because you do not know the situation that they're in, right?
no, for
In one
sure.
second, these things can snap. We all know
Mhm.
Zinedine Zidane, right? Soft-spoken person. But in us French folks, we knew that he's one not to wit, right? And you know what happened. So I think it's just those situations.
It's one of those situations where it fits the narrative of whatever you're looking for. If you think he's a passionate leader, you're like, see, that's where it is. If you think he's a hothead and can't do it, you say, hey, there it is. And I don't think that's necessarily fair. We're not in the training spaces. We're not there. The only, again, we'll say this again. The only concern I have with that is if I don't know for Nigeria, right? that is a room full of talented players, and you can say that about a lot of African teams.
Yeah.
But I don't. If he's the rallying cry, fine. Then you rally around him, and that's your leader. You rally around that. But it just looks so. It was easy to point out in a game for them was so comfortable for them when it was like, okay, yeah. So they won 4-0. But did you catch the part where the really good striker and then the African Player of the Year were kind of like yelling at each other and like, ooh, that's a story. And now it's going to become a thing because now instead of training, they're all going to be asked, "Hey, is all well in the camp?
Yeah, yeah.
Are we all on one accord? Was there a Bible study? Was there a group prayer? Is everyone okay? Are we all on the same side?" These are competitive players. These are competitive players who are passionate about what they do at the highest level, the highest degree that they can, getting to represent their country, which means now they have the pressure of millions of people behind them who all somehow believe that you just need to shoot it to goal. Not even angle it. They'll just say, shoot the
Yeah,
goal. I sound like an African uncle. You get the ball, just shoot the goal, shoot the goal. Like, it's it's gonna get blown out of proportion. The only thing I would add to it, which I've said earlier, is just I think for Nigeria, I'm wondering who is quote unquote because they don't have Ekong anymore. Ekong was that leader both off the pitch, he was the face, but then around the team he was that. They don't have that right now. So I wonder I don't think that this is the thing that'll derail them,
no.
but I wonder how they as a team react to this because they don't have him there anymore.
Maybe they'll maybe after training ground they all will sit down and hash it out and be like, hey, we're all here
Mm-hmm.
for a job to do. But
No,
in
that's
these
true.
situations, everybody handles their business differently. And I can promise you, all of the people that says that that such players will never do that. Trust
Mm-hmm.
me, it might not be behind camera, but everybody has their pet peeves, right? And I saw Hakimi on there. Guess what?
Yeah,
Trust
yeah,
me,
there is. Yeah,
trust me.
there's
It's in there, and
yeah,
I'm talking by experience.
no,
Mane, we all know, right?
yeah,
Mane, they were talking about with well mannered, but guess what? They all are competitive and they all have their crazy thing, right? Kobe Bryant, they always say one of the greatest of all time. And guess what? Everybody was saying he was you know what? Right?
yeah.
It's just it just we just happen to see it when all eyes on AFCON and
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria. But which
Yeah,
one would you want? A Osimhen that stays quiet and then just try to put the ball in the net,
but
or you
that,
want to fire up Osimhen?
but then that's the dichotomy of the player, though, right?
Yeah,
If he's that loud, he's too passionate. If he's quiet and a meek player, we say, oh, he doesn't
he's
want it
not a
enough,
leader.
right? He's
Yes.
not a leader. He doesn't have the passion for it. So it's like, what do you want? If you want him to care that much, that's what comes out with it, right?
It, you know what?
I, and to me, like it's fine. I get it. We're gonna get to the comments. I see Prince said, and
Oh, I
that's
know,
me.
I know.
And to me, like Prince to the, I don't. Should he have done it?
No,
Probably not.
no.
Probably not. But to me, I'm not gonna be mad about it, right?
Oh, trust me, I'm not giving him excuses because there's a certain way you should do it, right? But also at the heat of the moment, we our decision making is maybe not the same
Oh,
depending on
agreed.
the situations we are, right?
Hmm.
So at
Yeah.
this point, I just don't want. And now you see they all running with it, right? Saying that he quit. No one
Hmm.
knows. Did he ever come and says he quit the team? No.
No,
He
but
just
all
happened to go through a hallway where there was people doing interviews and everybody saw him.
yeah,
Maybe he walks fast.
narratives
Maybe he
run
need to go to the
quickly.
bathroom. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
narratives
yes,
run quickly, but stories take time to read, right?
yes.
And so,
So hopefully,
yeah,
hopefully
hopefully we
we'll
go
talk
from
more
there.
about other AFCON things than
Not the
that.
spat on the pitch that wasn't. And John Jones, for the record, they play in March. Ghana plays in
Man,
March.
that's a long
So
time.
yeah, no, we are in the stands with everyone else. Okay, we paid tickets. We even didn't pay. We waited until they let us for free admission, and then we came in. Okay, that's how we're doing. Okay,
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
so that's some quality Ghanaian Nigerian banter right there, which I appreciate, John. I do. I really do.
Have you
Mm.
seen more act like? Oh, oh
Have I
yes.
seen Mane act like this playing for Senegal? This is just
What?
international.
Mane? Because he doesn't have to, because he knows the Senegalese group is more tied, knit um, team.
Oh, oh, if the argument is the publicness of it, yeah, that's fine. I won't disagree with you with the publicness, and that's not the right words of it.
Well,
Yeah,
yes. So
yeah,
they're saying on
I will. I
international
got you.
footy, it's just
Yeah,
that the
but
way
the
the
mhm.
team is built, the Senegalese team, the way it's built at this moment,
Oh,
the leadership group that's built is different than what Nigeria leadership. We have,
yeah.
we have Koulibaly, we have Mane, those guys,
Oh,
and
but
we've seen training, and I can't even share with you guys another one where Koulibaly was talking during an interview. He spoke about two situations to when you get criticism, right? The
mm,
first one that he mentioned, it was that him as a young player, when he was getting criticized, he looked at the other player, says, "What do you know? I'm the big guy, right?" But
mhm.
then he looks at the younger kids now, like Bai, for example, they get criticized, but then they go say, yes, you're my, the African way when we say, you're our big brother. So we're going to take that information and not take it personal. It
Mhm.
just depends on how the dynamic of the team is built. Nigeria
Yeah.
dynamic is different than what Senegal's dynamic. Mane,
Mhm.
no one will talk back to him because they know who he
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Koulibaly, no one's going to talk back to him because they know who he is.
And not just who he is. Listen,
In
listen.
the tower,
They follow Mane. Okay,
yes,
they don't follow him because he's the best. They follow him for reasons. Okay,
yes.
you
So I
read the
think so.
story.
It's just
They're there.
how the
Yeah.
teams are, how it's built, right?
Mhm.
At this moment, like we said last weekend or something, the Nigerian team at this moment is a collective of great players, but we don't know who's the alpha dude. They just gave the armband to the best player in the team.
Hmm.
Koulibaly is not the best player on the team. He's the best defender, solid wall, but he's the captain.
He's the
Mane
leader.
isn't.
Yeah.
So it just
Mhm. That does though bring up the whole conversation of, do you give your captaincy to the best player, or do you give your captaincy to the best leader? Because it can go both ways on that,
yeah,
and that's fair. And like,
yeah. It depends. If
it does depend, right?
hopefully
But
your
like,
best player is also one that can lead.
that's
Either
the hope, yeah.
yes,
But
but
then,
there's two
yeah,
type of leadership too, right?
mhm,
It's to lead because he's the best player, and every ball has to go through them.
mhm,
Like Mbappe, for example, right? Mbappe is the captain because he's above and beyond majority of them, but he has the bigger impact. But he speaks for example. That's why he's
mhm,
the leader. But they have other guys in the team that are more vocal as leader, but that's why they're co-captains. Do
yep.
you? Does anyone know who's the co-captain in Nigeria?
Isn't it Bassi?
You see how you have to think about who is the captain. You see,
What's your point, Mo? What's
my
your
my
point?
point is that they just gave Nigeria has the captain is the best player on their team because he's
Mm,
producing, but vocally he maybe not be the best communicate.
yeah,
And I think maybe that's what kind of showed up. That's why they say only the captain can talk to the referees, right?
true.
Eh,
Hmm. But I mean,
So yes,
it becomes fascinating there. Again, we're not criticizing leadership or things, but again, I don't. If you want to argue the public, like how public it was, I can understand that that's fair. But players are going to be passionate. Players are going to want to play. They're going to run hot and they're going to run cold. That's fine. I have no issue with them doing that. So I get if you're mad with how where it happened, but those things happen all the time. And
John
I
Jones,
don't.
don't remind me of that crash out, please.
Which one? The
And
Zidane
I
crash
was
out.
he mentioned a multiple crash out from Zidane on.
Mm,
Yeah, he had
yeah.
this moment too.
Yeah, Musa retired from the team. That was the thing because the Kong is gone, Musa's gone. So
So they're like,
yes, I know, Sans, and I see it. So for you, speaking of Cape
uh-oh.
Verde, they will be a part of the New Zealand hosting one of the FIFA series groups. Yes, the FIFA series groups, which may now be our only shot. But for Cape Verde, that I'll be intrigued with that matchup for them. Cabo Verde versus New Zealand, that might be very interesting because New Zealand New Zealand isn't a team that's going to try to play out too much. And so for Capo Verde, this is like, okay, a team will sit back. Can you create? Can you punish? Can you do things? Because if not, listen, I don't care how old he is. Chris Wood is coming on that break, and you will hear the footsteps, and there's nothing you can do. Okay. And so that's not a bad matchup for them for the series. That series is in March, I believe, right? The FIFA the FIFA friendly series that they have. Yeah. In 2026. Yeah, they happen in March as well. So those are for teams. Yeah, they got host countries of, just looking at this on Wikipedia: Australia, Azerbaijan, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Mauritius, New Zealand, Puerto Rico, Rwanda, Uzbekistan. Those 9 venues. The only ones that we know for sure. Yep. New Zealand's going to host Chile, Finland, and Cape Verde. Puerto Rico are going to host US Virgin Islands, Guam, and American Samoa. That's probably why we don't get Uzbekistan until that time. But this could be interesting. But no one in CAF is host. Oh, only Rwanda's hosting theirs in CAF. This could be interesting. I like this concept of just, okay, we're going to get 4 teams together. It's basically a mini tournament. We're going to live life and go from there. Yep. Pulled it up there. Oh, TNT is hosting one too. Okay, that's good to know. Uzbekistan is hosting TNT. So for TNT, that's not too bad. Also, they're going to be in the Uzbekistan group. That's not too bad. But no, that's good. I mean, I like them organizing this. I am one of the few people in the world who laments the death of the friendly because I like seeing these matchups. Like I like seeing, okay, so Capo Verde will be going to Finland to play the Finns for reasons. Okay. I didn't see this. I'm the sickle who will watch it. But no, I think that'll be good. The FIFA series, yeah, got you there. And we have TNT are also in the Uzbek, so they're there. Yeah, so when we get closer to that, that'll be good. No, I like that. We've been everywhere with this conversation. But again, for those of you who are just shipping in through, again, as the scroller says, who are your top 3 teams of the 8? You get to pick 3 to go on. One of those 3 to win. Who are you picking? And based on, I think the matchups matter and the pathways matter. Steph mentioned that Côte d'Ivoire might have the easy side of the bracket. Senegal, he's saying Senegal is the easy side. Leave no further, but the bracket heads out this way. You have Mali, Senegal, Egypt, Côte d'Ivoire on one side, and you have Cameroon, Morocco, and then Nigeria, Algeria on the other side. They were really hoping to get, I'm not going to lie, it's almost as if this got set up. We're like, we're going to have a North African semifinal. We're going to do this. We promise you this. But if you look at the matchups and the pathways, right, the most interesting matchup for me, for you, Mo, actually, let me ask you that before we go. Okay, New Zealand is hosting Chile, Finland, Cape Verde, a group for the female teams. Okay, my bad.
You still gonna watch it?
I'm still gonna watch it. No, I'm still gonna watch it. Are you kidding? I'm seated. Okay. Look, Canada just got friendlies. The women's side just have friendlies to get ready for World Cup qualifiers. I am seated for that. But when you look at the pathways, who do you think has the best pathway to get to the finals here? Right, you have Mali, Senegal. The winner of that plays Egypt, Côte d'Ivoire. And then on the other hand, you have Morocco, Cameroon. The winner of that plays Nigeria, Algeria.
You said easiest?
Yeah, who has the easy? Which pathway is easiest, the top or the bottom? Because to me,
there's none.
I don't think there is.
There's not an easy path.
I would say based how the teams are performing, I think the bottom looks a lot more daunting than the top, right? I think Nigeria versus Algeria, those two teams have been performing well. And then you have Cameroon versus Morocco. I think Morocco, again, have had higher peaks. I think Algeria, of the North African teams, Algeria has been the most steady there. And then versus a Cameroon side that's, hey, finish your chances and you're in the semis. Versus, um, and it, with all due respect to them, it's Egypt that drops it, right? Egypt haven't been convincing. So Cote d'Ivoire versus Egypt, you could see maybe it's a game where talent reigns supreme,
You,
right? And you bring up Mali Princehood. Mali is a very interesting. It's how you rate Mali is really going to depend on this, because some people will look at Mali and say it's Mali. They disappointing World Cup qualifiers. Maybe they don't have as many names. They've played. They were the only team that's got a result off Morocco here, and Mali versus Senegal. I don't think is a walk in the park for the Senegalese. That's going to be a struggle, both physically and both on the counter. On paper, again, you say the talent makes it through. I agree with you, John Jones. There are no easy games, is what you're saying. But which pathway looks easier based off how the teams are performing? I would say the bottom is the more difficult, right? And it's really for me Egypt. Egypt's what drops it for me. Egypt, Egypt did not
that makes
like,
sense.
yeah, I,
But
yeah,
yeah, it's this. It shows me a lot of the fun part of this
mm,
bracket now is that other than the Mali Senegal game, the Egypt Ivory Coast, the Cameroon Morocco, and Algeria Nigeria, they're all showing the contrast of style of play.
yes, mhm,
So now it will be on who, if it's pure talent or tactical talent, that's going to reign supreme on there. Senegal and Mali are close enough that you could see the physical part and the fast
yeah,
paced, and maybe Senegal has the skillfulness. That's what
yeah,
tops them out of those five skills. The other games is that we're looking technical, and then we're looking speed, and then we're looking at strength, and then we're looking at technical, then we're looking at more technical than it's physical. So it's like that's enough contrast to, if I make a pick for each of those games, I will
mm.
still have in the back of my mind a lot of questions on what if.
And I think that's fair. I think I'll get to your comment here, Prince Hood, because look, I don't feel that way, but I think it. I think again, their contrasting styles are what make this interesting, right? Like I'll look at the Nigeria Algeria matchup, right? The one thing I'll give Algeria credit for is when it felt like the game was about to get turned to something they didn't want, they took the air out of the game for those moments and gathered themselves, and then they were in a little bit more control, right? That managing the game like that, those things matter when you play teams that you can get kind of sucked into the track meet, right? Cote d'Ivoire versus Egypt. I'm sorry, like it feels like Egypt are going to defend and then pray that either Marmouche or Salah save them, right? That it'll feel like they'll defend, set piece goals, and go from that. Which means Cote d'Ivoire will be on this. The entire quarterfinals feels like it's going to be a fully ball dominant side versus a team that says no, no, no. Our bread and butter is defend and counter. Only one where I can see like Mali versus Senegal, maybe. Listen. Hey, I didn't say that. I haven't said that. I think there's a real possibility that Cote d'Ivoire makes the finals because I don't think we've paid attention enough to it, which means they go through Senegal, which, hey, or Mali, depending on what happens there. But
Whoever makes it to the top one's going to win the AFCON.
you're thinking the top is going to win it? I feel that when you're battle tested, it helps. Like, I think the one, and it's not by any fault of their own, like Algeria, they look, Algeria beats DR Congo. That's probably the best uh, quality in terms of ranking and quality sides that they've played. You think that's not going to help them against a team like Nigeria?
Mm, if they leave it to the end of it, no, because
I do agree with you there. I think,
yeah,
like, again, it comes down to how you want to play the game and how
because
they manage
yeah,
it. Yeah, and that's fair.
because with Nigeria, you'll need more than one player to have a magical play to beat them.
And they do have more than one player that can give them a magical play, and that's the key thing. But it feels like, again, Côte d'Ivoire versus Egypt. It feels like Côte d'Ivoire will be on possession and Egypt will defend and go Salah, Marmouche, give us something. Senegal have the talent to say, listen, however you want to play, we go. I think if you're Nigeria versus Algeria, you're almost tempting them, or you're trying to suck them into the ping pong game, the back and forth, the fast break type of a game, because that is fine for them. Nigeria's fine. Look, you want to play that way? Look, Lookman wants to run. Everyone else wants to run. Maybe all these things can run. And then Morocco versus Cameroon. If Morocco, I think if Cameroon plays them more in terms of we're gonna high, not fully high press, but mid press to high press you, make you uncomfortable. I think they can turn them over, and then that becomes a lot closer. I think it's the matchups are fascinating for this, but again, I still do think in terms of one side, I think whoever makes out of the bottom is winning. Right? I think whoever makes out of the bottom is winning that hands down. Mainly because I think they'll be more battle tested. And again, they're all good teams, but I love you, Egypt. But Egypt is the one side, just how they've looked, haven't looked as well. So I think that's bottom half is where I think you're going to get the winner from this tournament. And now, because of that, because I've said that and I've doubted those teams, it's going to be Senegal or Cote d'Ivoire. Actually, you know what it is? It's going to be Egypt because I've doubted them the entire time. Egypt's going to win. This is what's going to happen. This is
It's
how we
recorded
win.
now, so
It's there. It's there. It's there. Prince Hood saying if Senegal don't beat Mali, don't be deserve to be in the discussion of the best CAF teams because the diaspora in this group are very talented. Hey, as some people say, the ball is round. A one bounce here. If you don't finish your chances, all you need is a double bounce own goal, and you're going home. Equatorial Guinea to Sudan. Yes, I know Sudan didn't do anything in this round of 16, but the longer the game stays 0-0, the more chances you give yourself to a bad bounce going against you. Every neutral fan is cough cough Ghana. Son, we're very neutral. Uh maybe Ghana can host a FIFA series because Panama is a joke. They will win. Okay, Ghana is not beating Panama 3-0. I'm not saying anything about what Ghana will do to Panama until after March because I want to see matchups. I want to see injuries, and I want to see who is healthy because injuries are a real thing. But based off of that, guys, we're gonna I'll wrap you up here because I mean I could keep going, but listen, I've done this for 5 straight days. I am winded on a Tuesday. But I think the question I have for you is who are your top three? We had some people say this in the chat as well. And if you're watching this on the rewatch, let me know who are your top three teams you feel are the best chance to win based off the bracket. Again, matchups are coming up if you don't know. We have Saturday, Mali versus Senegal, and then Cameroon versus Morocco, and then Egypt versus Cote d'Ivoire, and then Algeria versus Nigeria. For me, that Algeria Nigeria game is just fascinating based off of how the game is played. Does Algeria say we want to make this a fast pace, or do they say we want to sit back and see if Nigeria can break them down from a low block standpoint and then go from there? We'll have to wait and see. But out of these 8 teams, Mali, Senegal, Egypt, Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Morocco, Algeria, and Nigeria, who are your favorites to go on and win this? We're going to wrap this up here because we've had a time and family life, and I got to get some ice off of it. But you guys, let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here. If you haven't already done it, make sure leave a like on and a subscribe if you haven't done to either Mo's channel or my channel here. Like the video as well. Mo Football here or Afrikaans TV or FC. I'm Africans FC. We'll go from there. Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, and Cameroon. Fair enough. Let us know in the comments below. Thank you guys for being here. And as always, I'm going to stop talking right here.